on the existing sewers around the project site as well, and that's the full scope of the work. I did have opportunity to talk to Jim Bowling Monday late afternoon, and he was comfortable with his bid. That was kind of the first topic of discussion, to make sure he was comfortable, understood the scope of the work, the schedule, and all the requirements. I did confirm that he has a firm quote on the sanitary rehab portion of the work that he will subcontract out. He has firm quotes in hand for that work. He's available to start work immediately, is what he says, and he's working on a project just across the street for DePaul at this point as well. So that's just a little bit of background on Bowling. They are here local from Greencastle as well.
Do you think maybe we get the benefit of the economy of scale? I mean, these are already here, they're not moving stuff and globalization. Yeah.
So,
right.
Well, I'm sorry, Laverne.
He, if I remember correctly, it's been several years ago, but I'm pretty sure that he volunteered a lot of time in his services in helping with the splash pad. I'm pretty sure he donated quite a bit of time.
And
We have experience with him.
Positive.
Positive experience.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
so
right.
I went through and I looked at all this. I asked Rick about the water lines. The water lines are being replaced, right?
That is correct.
But when I looked at the sewer, I was trying to understand the manhole and sewer linings. So how did they determine which ones are replaced and which ones get linings, or do they all just get lined?
Yeah, so the city went out and televised in advance of the start of this project, and there was one segment of sewer on Indiana Street that was in pretty good disrepair. The alignment, the profile of the sewer was off. There was damaged pipe, and that particular segment will be replaced. The rest of the lines were clean enough to be able to rehabilitate, which comes in at a lower price. So that's how the decisions were made on replacement versus rehab.
And what is a sanitary lateral reinstatement?
Yeah, so once the sewers are lined from manhole to manhole, the side connections from the individual houses have to be reinstated because the liner goes continuously from one manhole to the next. So remotely from within the pipe, they're able to cut through the liner that was just installed to reinstate the existing connection. And that's all done remotely without digging.
Interesting. Love to understand how they do that.
Right. Well, there'll be opportunity to observe directly.
That's all the questions I had.
Yeah, this was pretty old water line, wasn't it? Some of the city's original?
Yeah, I've heard, maybe up to 100 years old, and
Yeah.
and most of the water mains in the streets are originals.
So do we put in, and I was just talking to Rick and it kind of jogged my mind. So the water main that we're putting in, is it ductile iron or PVC?
Yeah, the material that's proposed will be ductile iron. Right. I'll add one more note that there is opportunity for the city to save approximately $100,000. The water department this was similar to the Washington Street project. The water department did a great job of working in advance to check the existing valves to see if pipes could be isolated to allow the connections to be made without putting in line stops in advance by the contractor. So we've got the same opportunity with this project. The line stops are built into the contract, but if the water company is successful in verifying that the valves are operational and the water will shut off, then that scope of work can be eliminated from the contract. So
the line stops would be put in by the contractor to stop the water flow?
that is correct. Yeah, it's a temporary provision just to be able to isolate and be able to make the connection.
Okay, and then we have in certain locations a valve that you can turn it off.
That's correct, yeah.
The dumb question is, why wouldn't we put in a valve instead of a line stop?
Well, the new mains will have all new valves installed. So this is a temporary provision on the existing old mains to be able to isolate and minimize who all gets shut off. So if an existing valve's not operational and then the next one up the line, the next block's not operational, you might end up shutting down,
Like half the city,
5 or 6 square blocks or something like that.
kind of like we did when we did, kind of like what happened when we did the 231 project, there was one particular line I think we shut off, I felt like half the city, that would get avoided, that,
Like
like,
line stops.
with the line stops, so
That
we
makes
won't
sense.
have to shut off all the hair salons and the Starbucks and the restaurants, and, oh my gosh, I'm having flashbacks there.
So when the new lines go in, they'll actually have valves on them so you can isolate certain areas and shut them down.
Yes. Yeah, approximately one valve per block. So if there had to be a repair made, somewhere in the future, maybe only one block is isolated out.
So, how long do they last? Because if we know where they're at, 'cause the question here is, if our existing valves don't work, then we have to use line stops. So how often should we be replacing those valves that shut the water off?
Yeah, the new valves that go in, they will, with exercise and maintenance, they should last the life of the pipe system itself. So there's typically not a valve replacement program with most municipal water systems.
We just have to do the
Some of our
maintenance.
pipes are 120 years old.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is why they have to carefully go out and do a little bit of exercise, a little bit of maintenance, just to see if they can operate and see if they can fully shut off. But on Washington Street, I think there was pretty good success with that work in advance, and I think we saved the bulk of the dollars that were built in for line stops.
Yeah, down on this project down here.
Right.
Because they were in much better shape than possibly what might be up here. We're in a little bit situation is, there was more residential, not quite as critical. Here, we're dealing with
Unless you live
businesses.
there.
Well, yeah, but it was pretty simple. I don't think anybody was shut off very long.
Right.
Because it was a very simple
Quick, yeah.
switch over. But when we're starting to deal with hair salons, restaurants,
Absolutely.
all that, it gets a little more problematic. So we just need to be prepared both
Best we
ways.
can, yes.
The best we can,
And we have the money for this one.
yes. So
coming.
sewer has that. We've been planning for this project for several years now. And then part of it, we will ask redevelopment to also help in, because we are making an improvement as far as we are increasing the pipe size, correct?
That is correct.
So,
Yes.
some of that, then, it's an economic development.
For
effort.
water. Water pipe size is increasing, right?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
Not. All right, I'm gonna make a motion, we accept the bids and then enter into the contract with JR Bowling LLC for the Seminary Square Water Main and Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project, out of $1,678,249,000 even.
And could you add to that, the mayor have the authority to sign the contract once we receive all of the?
Yes. For the mayor to sign the contract once everything is received and reviewed by the city attorney.
Perfect.
Still have performance bond,
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot coming in.
Awarded, then they have to give us the
That's fine.
performance bond, they don't do that until after they're awarded.
Isn't there an easy button?
There is no easy button.
Second.
We've got a motion, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, that is all of our business for today.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We have to sign claims.
Yes, we do. too.
Oh, she didn't leave me any claims. So I
Leave
guess,
them in the drive-through and we'll sign them.
okay, she won't be back till Friday.
Next week, whenever you need them.
Friday.
I mean, I can come in, but it's easier sometimes to just drive through.
Yep. Sorry.
You are here now, I am not, so unless they want to hunt me down. Rick's had hunt me down in my private office once or twice.
Good deal. And I signed this one, and I signed the notice.
I like it.
We love